What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, my friends, and let's get into it, okay? Wasting no time at all. We're here at about 3.9 cents right now. Looking at this on a daily time frame. Looking at our RSI here, we've got this nice kind of structure, higher lows, higher highs. It's not the most perfectly drawn lines, but you can see we're probably at the bottom of this trend up. We likely will bounce from here. Even without all that, you can see that where we're bouncing from, we're just below the 60, right above the 55 here. Nice kind of area to bounce from. We've bounced here before, though it didn't merit anything. We've bounced here before and gotten overbought, right? It's a somewhat common area to not just find support, but also find resistance somewhat in this area, right? So I do assume that if we find support here and if we can get into the overbought zone, that likely we would see a reading that is deeper than this, which would indicate that XRP is getting underway of its next move. And I do expect that to happen pretty soon. I think we're underway with that now. I don't anticipate that we'll go lower than this low here. Okay, and I want to go over that real quick. If we look at the 3-day time frame, there is some kind of bearish divergence, high here, lower high, and you have the high, higher high here. Bearish divergences, if it formed here, likely and oftentimes with these divergences, you have to go to the line to resolve it. But the fact that you got super close to it, I'm going to assume that there are more than just me and you looking at XRP. There's probably people with a lot of money and trading algorithms who are watching XRP who are fully aware of these classic areas to find support. They call this when you reach for it, but there's just that little gap in between. They call that getting front-runned, right? Front ran. Everybody had buy orders at 261 or lower. That was the expected area to go. Everybody and their mother had attention on that. If we take the relative low here to the relative high, that's at your 0.5. Man, a lot of cryptos are finding support at their 0.5 area recently, right? A lot of attention in this area. And you couldn't even touch it because there's probably so much buying pressure or not enough selling pressure. With the reaction you have on this day wicking all the way up like this, or this 3-day period, I'm going to assume it was too much buying pressure, right? Lack of selling pressure maybe, but there's a lot of buying pressure. That's a good thing. So even though, yes, you have bearish divergence on the 3-day time frame, I brought this point up on this time frame to really show you that I think you've already negated the divergence. I think you've already made the move down. You could go lower. You could go to 261. You could go a little bit lower. You never know. And if you do, that's okay. Go into 261, 255, 245, something like that. It could happen. I don't expect that you'd see a lower low than this, but it is possible. The only reason I'm talking about that right now actually is because if it happens, a higher low, it wouldn't be bad. It would give you an opportunity to buy at lower prices, and it certainly would not be an opportunity to sell. So if I'm talking about not going below this line, likely not going below this low here, the only reason that I'm bringing up if we go lower, the only reason I'm talking about that is so that if it does happen, you're not under the impression that it can't go lower, so that whenever it does happen, you sell down here when really it's just an opportunity to buy more, right? Just because I'm expecting we don't go lower than that doesn't mean it can't happen. And just because it does happen, even though I don't expect it to happen, doesn't mean it's a bad thing, right? I hope that all makes sense. I'm trying to be very specific because I don't want to see people lose money. I want to see people make money, right? I've been saying this, and I've actually said this for a very long time. This is a saying that I've had. I used to just say it in person to people I knew, but the saying that I want to start incorporating in my channel, I'm going to start bringing it about, is let's get rich together. That's what I want. I want us to get rich together. I don't want to make money and see you get screwed, right? I don't want to know what I'm talking about, calling for the price to not go below this, but then, oh, it goes below this and I know it's okay, but then you're left wondering if it's okay and then you panic sell. I don't want that. I want us all to be on the same page, and that's why I talk about the negative aspects too, even if it's not what I expect. That's not so I can be right. That's not so that if it happens, I'll be like, oh, I called it. You rarely will hear me brag about things. If I'm on a heater, of course I'm going to feel it. But anyways, man, I'm talking too much about myself. Let's talk about XRP. 3-day time frame beyond the bearish divergence, which I think is already completed. It looks very bullish. It's absurdly bullish, you guys. Higher lows on higher lows, bouncing off the 60. You're even in an area right now. You're set up to bounce right off this overbought zone. That would be a powerful, dude. Bouncing off your overbought zone and getting a deeper reading, dude, this would be, you would likely, you'd see a pretty crazy move, right? Something that might be similar to this move here. And if this were to be considered as some kind of bull flag, we talk about this every time, but I think it's worth talking about, low here to high here. If that was your bull pole and this was your, oh, that's not what I meant to do. And this was your bull flag, when you break out, and you might be in the midst of a breakout move now, assuming you don't go any lower, right? you would see a rather explosive move up to about 11 bucks, over 11 bucks, over 10 bucks, something like that. This 3-day RSI, you guys, is very bullish. Bouncing off your overbought zone. I wonder if we can find an example of that. We can't. We can't. And this is on Coinbase. Maybe if I just want to look, I don't want to get rid of the chart. Let's see if we can find one on another time, or on another chart, maybe. Let's see here. Just trust when I tell you. That's kind of close, but I suspect it's probably not going to provide what we're looking for. It's kind of close. Yeah, not the same though, right? You bounced off, but you didn't get the higher high, right? We're expecting a higher high in the RSI relative to our high, so it's not necessarily what I was looking for. This might be a good example, but to the opposite effect, right? Rejecting off the overboughts or oversold them, but you still didn't get that lower low, so it might not be. Right here, there we go. That might be a good one right there. Okay, let's see. Something like this. Okay, so that still was not a good one. That still was not a good one. That was like a fake out higher. But trust whenever I tell you, other than these piss poor examples that we're showing now, there's just no examples that actually show it, right? We had the one example. Here you bounce, it wasn't overbought. Nothing really. Kind of here, but not, it wasn't continue, it wasn't the same thing. Here, kind of, yeah. I don't know, guys. That kind of backfired. Didn't find any examples on the XRP chart, but that's okay. Just trust when I tell you, man. I've seen it happen enough times. When you bounce off your overbought zone on the RSI and you get a higher relative reading, right? Which none of the ones that we saw before had that. If they did, it was like these wimpy moves here. So it's not the same thing. It's not the same presence as what we have here. If we bounce off of this and we see a higher high, and I think that we will, that'd be a very powerful reading, likely leading to a powerful move, which you're going to need nothing shy of a powerful move if you're going to get to your next target areas. You're at $3.09 now from a high to a low. The next target area is 837 to 1356 based off of this fib. That's your overall all-time high to low of this consolidation phase. High to low here from your last cycle high to your bear cycle low that we just had. You're at the 1272 now, consolidating up in this area, very bullish. Likely, oftentimes, the next target would be the 1414, but being that you're so bullishly consolidating around here and you look super good on your 3-day time frame as well, I would think that you at least go to 641. So the established minimum target, we got $3.09 now, would be 641 here. The established maximum target would be 1357. I personally don't think you get to 1357. I think it's something more in between. Maybe 1071 is a better kind of maximum. But to be completely fair too, I often identify this as a range, the 1886 to the 200. And that also lines up with your 1414. I'm just saying it. I don't think 1357 is going to happen, but it is a target. It is there. It might be a moon boy target. It might not be in touch with reality, but it's there. It's something that we can look at. 641 to 837 is more likely the area, the designated area you'll stop at. You could exceed this a little bit. You might pinpoint stop right there at 641, but I definitely anticipate that XRP will do some crazy things, man. I definitely expect that it'll see a powerful move coming out of this. You're at $3.09 now. Let me give you some targets to watch for, to do or to not do if you want to see good things or bad things take place. Okay, so if we're looking to move higher, and we're looking to move higher, what you want to do, I mean, technically, I guess what you want to do is just close any given 4 hour above $3.18, $3.18.5. Close any given 4 hour period above there. Ideally, if you close above the $3.22.7 area, the 786, you close above there, it's looking good. When you close above 330, that's how we know it's on. Okay, closing above 330 is on, but I think it would suggest that you're not moving lower than this low, or just not moving lower at all, and moving higher rather immediately. If you can get above about $3.22 there, $3.18, something like that, right, in that area. Okay, it's not a pinpoint exact area, but maybe not an exact line price, but it is a pretty precise area. I would say get above 318, and instead of giving it the low, let's just give it the high. Get above 322. That's what I'm going to say. Get above $3.22, and then it's time to celebrate. Right, that's your higher low. Your next low from there will only be a higher low, right? You break above 330. That's when it's time to celebrate for higher highs, okay? Higher highs relative to this. When it's time to not celebrate, when it's time to hide and call mom and ask her to, you know, if you can move in with her again, is whenever you get below about 2.9 $2.925 right there, okay? I don't know if I said 3.22 cents. I'm sorry, I meant to say $3.22. I talk about various cryptos all day long, you guys. I'm used to dealing in cents sometimes, or hundreds of dollars. I just made a video recently for another coin, and I had to restart it because I said it was like $100 when it was like $3. All right, that's XRP. So it was a different coin. Anyways, getting all distracted here. If you're going to shit the bed, look for a close below $2.92. Probably on a 4-hour basis would do. I would think a daily basis would be more condemning. 4-hour, obviously, not so much. Actually, that was your low, so maybe that's not a good metric to go off of. 4-hour, how about this? 4-hour, if you close below $2.82 on a 4-hour basis, then it's time to wet the bed. If you close below $2.92 on a daily basis, then it's time to shake in your boots a little bit. Yeah, you probably would see a lower low here and go down to like 240, something like that. But even then, even if you go to 240, you guys, again, worst case scenario, it's still not that bad. You'll likely find an immaculate bounce in that area and then boom, rip to the moon. $6.40 at a minimum, $10, $11 kind of at the given maximum, $13.50 to be moon boyishly optimistic. But that's all I got for you guys. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I think that your daily RSI looks absurdly bullish. You look very postured to do some phenomenal things. Same thing with the 3-day RSI, same thing with the weekly RSI. It just looks better as you zoom out, man. It really does. And then the monthly here, dude, it's phenomenal. You're already seeing stronger readings than you did last cycle, which would imply, and obviously, that you're going to see a stronger cycle than you did last cycle. The only other cycle we have to compare it to is this crazy, ridiculous cycle. So let's just say from a low to a high, you're not going to see 110,000% growth, but let's also just say from a low to a high, you're not going to see 1,685%. So where are you going to go? Right, something in, it's going to be miraculous, man. Wherever you, I fully expect XRP could be worth over $20, if not even over $40 by the end of the cycle. A lot higher than that cycle, a lot lower than this cycle, but that's kind of what I'm expecting. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye.